Hello and welcome to Star Guides. Today we're going to be discussing how to download and install Star Citizen. Let's get to it. So before we even get into the download and installation process of Star Citizen, let's first go over specifications to make sure that you can even run the game. Star Citizen is an alpha, meaning that there's hardly any optimization, so you're going to need a BV computer. Specifically, Star Citizen is CPU heavy, so if your GPU isn't great but you have a decent CPU, you should be okay. As you can see, for the recommended playable and minimum specs, these are whether or not you can play it and how many frames you'll get. So minimum will mean that you can play it, but the frames are not going to be great. While recommended will give you the optimal frames, but you can also play it. I'm not going to go through every single spec here on the sheet, but please review them and figure out whether or not you can play. Some important things to note though: you must have an SSD. Hard drive won't work just because the assets won't load fast enough, and then you'll just have a bad time falling through the ground or just not being able to play at all. Also, for RAM, you should have at least 16 gigabytes, and there might be a chance that you have to create a page file too. Some people claim that they don't need to create a page file. That is because page file is probably good enough from the system default. If you think that you need a page file, then I will go over exactly how to create one at the end of this video. For now, let's just go ahead and start downloading Star Citizen. If you go to robertSpaceIndustries.com, you can see the URL in the title bar here. If you go to this web address, or you could just Google it, and then once you're there, you would want to get rid of this pop-up and then go down to Play Now and click Play Now. You can see it right here. And then once you click Play Now, it'll load you to the screen to where you want to choose your spaceship. Now you have two starter spaceships, the Aurora MR and then also the Mustang Alpha. These starter packs will give you both access to the game and the ship itself, as well as some starting credits. Once you pick the ship that you want, whether it's the MR or the Alpha, you can scroll down and then just it go over your PC recommendations, or your PC requirements even. Just what we just went over before, except for the ones that I showed you are true requirements and not what Star Citizen recommends. What they recommend is kind of old and out of date, so go with what I showed you. Now that we are here, we can now click on I confirm and then buy this game. Once you click buy this game and figure out which one you want to go with, I decided to go with the Aurora MR. Click on buy this game. Now you're going to want to go ahead and sign in if you already have an account. If you don't have an account, click on Enlist now. This will be where you create your account name. So go ahead and click in whatever your username wants to be. This will be the username that will be in game as well, so be aware of that. Next, you're going to enter in your email address. Just know that you're going to want to know the password of this email address, because you're going to have to not only verify but also two-factor authentication, and then if you ever gift anything, it goes to that email address as well. Password needs to be secure, whatever their requirements is. Now once you select the birthday, just be careful because it's not actually a drop down. You could type into that field, and I'll show you what I mean about that a little later, because some of these drop downs are not really drop downs and they can be confusing. Referral code will be whatever referral code you want it to be. You can use mine or you can use someone else's. That'll just give you some bonus And now once you're here at the checkout, well, I guess this is the cart, not the checkout. We can see that the Aurora MR is flyable and it contains a game package. If you have any credits, you can use credits here. I don't have any credits, so we'll just keep moving on. Credits just means it's store credits. You can basically exchange ships for store credits, and that's where you'll enter them. So let's move on. Next, you're going to need your billing information. Obviously, I'm going to not show you this part, but there are a couple of parts about it that I want to show you. So for example, the drop downs where it says country, just know that the country is not an actual drop down. You just click in that area and then you start typing, and then once you start typing, it will start pre-filling that information and then you select one. It's weird. It's not a drop down, it's not an input box, it's kind of a combination in both, and it confuses people. Same for the other fields that are drop downs, not really drop downs. Obviously, I'm inputting fake information just because I don't want you to see my real information. We'll continue from here after I've entered my real information. Now that you have your information entered, you can now select place order. This will give you a disclaimer that you should read this. I would highly suggesting reading it, because then it gives over some information about your purchase and exactly what you're purchasing and what a pledge is, because you're technically not purchasing a ship, you're purchasing a pledge, and there's information within here that you should read. We're not going to go over it, but we'll read it. Select OK, and then you're going to want to put in your payment information. You could do credit card, you could do PayPal, you could do Apple Pay, Google Pay, Amazon Payments, and then even Alipay. Just know that sometimes once you submit it, it might take a couple of days to go through. If it doesn't go through after a couple of days, then you're going to want to contact CIG. You may or may not need to log in again. I did not need to, but you can log in through here. Once you're logged in, push the play now button again, and then you can actually see that we have an RSI account, a game package, and other things. So we're going to want to install the launcher. So click on that button there, just install the launcher to your downloads, hit save, and then we're going to open up that launcher. The game launcher is what actually installs Star Citizen for you. So let's go ahead and go to your downloads and then double click on the launcher. And then once the launcher is running, let's give it a second. You're going to want to go through the terms of agreement, just like any other piece of software that you have. Accept it, and then now we're going to figure out where we're going to install this. Install this on whatever SSD drive that you want. I have my own SSD drive on a separate SSD, so we're just going to install it there. There might be an issue where you might need to install it on your OS SSD, but that issue is mainly fixed, so just install it to any SSD. And then you just click on install when you're ready to install. This will actually install the launcher, and then we can run it. Once we're here, let's go ahead and log in. And now that you are logging in, we can have our two-factor authentication. Make sure you put that to the highest you can, which I believe is a year, and then you put in your two-factor authentication code that you get from your email. Sorry for skipping ahead like this. I didn't want to show you my email address that I used to log in, but It's just a normal login box. You just type in your email address and password and hit login. But now we are connecting it to FA. And then finally, we are at the installation button. You could confirm a couple of settings here in the settings key, or you can just continue to install. And so in the settings, I like to verify that the library folder is where it's pointed, where it's supposed to be, which is where you're going to be installing the game itself. And then make sure that you click on live. And then now we can hit install. I'm not going to show you this entire installation process because it takes forever, but I just wanted to let you know that if you are having some issues, it could be related to Windows 11 and a couple other things. And I'll show you how to and where to go if you are having issues after this. A little bit into the future, and our game is installed. Once this is installed, a launch game button should appear. Just click on that launch game button and you will start Star Citizen. There's also a little acknowledgement pop-up that you need to acknowledge, and it's just basically saying that you are in an early alpha and things happen in early alpha, like losing money and stuff. Don't worry about it too much. Go over it if you would like, but just know that there is a possibility that you can log in and the game is wiped from a new patch or just because of a bug. These are normal things. The only thing you'll never lose really is pledged or ships that are purchased with real money. And then once we get past the loading screen, you'll see the main menu. This main menu should have a persistent universe and arena commander button. We will go over those two later, and these are the buttons how to get into the game. But for now, let's just go ahead and go back to page files just in case you wanted to know how to set up a page file. Creating a page file is fairly simple. All we gotta do is go down here to the search, click and type performance, and then the performance tab should pop up. You click on that, and then once you clicked on that, you gotta click on this advanced tab. Once you are in the advanced tab, you just click on the change button, and then within the change button, you're going to want to uncheck this box here. Once that's unchecked, we will going to change which SSD drive we want to actually put the page file on. Make sure it is an SSD drive, and then we're going to come over here to basically manually enter in the values that we want. And then once we click on that, we can type in the values that we want. Just make sure you use my exact values, because this is the values that the help team and the Reddit Star Citizen Discord found that is the best values to use. So go ahead and pause here if you need to figure out what the values are, but the video will actually show you what values to use. Once those values are in, we're going to click on OK. I'm not going to click OK because I don't want to change these values, but you just click on OK. And then you might need to apply it afterwards. And then that's it. That's how you would set up a page file. I also highly suggest that you go to http://reddit.com/r/Star Citizen. Here you can find a bunch of good information about any errors that you come across, or you can post in here so that way if you do come across any errors, someone will help you out. Not only is there any good troubleshooting here, but also just a lot of good information, good memes, a lot of just fantastic information from some great people. And if the Reddit isn't your thing, there is a link to the Discord as well, and once you join the Discord, you can have access to the help channel or just ask any questions that you need. And thank you for joining me in this video, and this concludes this guide. Please like, follow, share, whatever you would like to do, and see you next time.